Atomic Facepalm Weekly is filmed in front of a live studio audience. Yes! Hi, and welcome to Atomic Facepalm. This is Chris.
This is Bree.
And it is episode...
18.
It is indeed, episode 18. Thanks everybody for tuning in. If you want to go ahead and hit subscribe, that would be awesome. We would love you forever and ever. And you can always leave a comment as well so we can hear what you think about things that you're thinking about. So, we're going to kick it right off with Professor Fosnagel's Game-tacular game debate of Gamosphere.
Are you asking what games I'm playing this week?
Yes.
Okay. What did I play this week? I played lots of VR, actually.
Yeah,
VR's
been a thing this week.
Yeah, it's been a VR week. I also played the Absolver closed beta a little bit earlier in the week.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, that can't talk about it, but I played it.
Oh, it's one of those games?
Yeah, it is, for now.
Like with Quake Champions, where I was like, I'm getting all this gameplay footage. I'm going to, talk about it and stuff. And
no, I knew I couldn't. No. But anyway, so that's out in closed beta, and you can still sign up for closed beta. They've been running that.
If you play it, does it legally absolve you of any crimes?
Mm-hmm.
No. The crickets you hear in the audience is actual crickets.
Well, you're supposed to...
Yeah, we need an applause sign. Okay, it's enough.
Okay. But yeah, lots of VR. I did StarTrek, what is it?
Bridge Commander?
Bridge Crew. StarTrek Bridge Crew.
You command a crew
on
in it.
VR. Did most of the demo and then played a lot of solo. I have not done it online. I'm enjoying it quite a bit.
I really want to play this game.
Yeah.
So it's been the popular VR game, at least today. This has been a house filled with games, I will add. But yes, Star Trek Bridge Crew looks quite good.
It's good. It's definitely a very different VR game. Every other game is somewhat about shooting or moving things or interacting, and this is you sit in a chair and you just pushing buttons.
Like literally sit in a chair, by the way. Like you take this chair and you sit in place and you're kind of moving your arms around. And you mentioned, unlike other VR games, you can see your arms.
Your arms, which are very... I am a skinny person in that game, and it is very strange to look down and see like tiny little Barbie arms and tiny little Barbie legs. But yeah, you look down and you actually see your whole body, and you do your little button pressing. And there's 4 different people can play at once. Somebody's driving the ship, somebody's doing the tactical, shooting or scanning. There's the engineer, and then there's the captain.
Right.
And if you play solo, then you play as the captain, and you can kind of talk to your different, bridge members and give them orders, or you can jump into them and then, be them and do their things.
Yep.
For example, the helm guy, the guy that steers the ship, you can tell him to go somewhere, but he is just going to go somewhere, and he will crash into anything between him and there. So you want to kind of take control of him in solo play and steer the ship for him.
That does fit the canon of most Star Trek helm officers, though. Yeah, they steer somewhere, they beam down, they get killed. Although in this one, they just skip the beaming down part and just get killed.
We beam people up. You can beam people up and onto the thing, but you don't. Yeah. I definitely like doing the helm, because you get to, when you go to warp, you do the, and you warp.
It's like the manual acceleration handle, which apparently they're doing now in the movies.
Yeah, and then you can also play on, not the Enterprise, you can play the original Enterprise, but I haven't done that. They say that that's hard mode, because it looks like it's, instead of buttons that say what they are, it's just gems everywhere.
Yeah,
and you're gonna this gem does that, and that gem over here does the other thing that's part of that. It's speed up, speed down. I'm like,
is overly authentic to the source material. In fact, I did an article on that for a different place, and they actually talked to the devs, and they made it that way on purpose. That's more of an Easter egg for once you get good at the game, and you're really looking for a challenge, and you want that nostalgia. You don't play the original Enterprise.
Yeah, so that's a pretty solid game. I also downloaded and played Super Hot. Right? Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
Super
Hot VR, because there's a Super Hot game that's not VR,
okay.
I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is a shooter, but it's the other people in the game, and AI, not other people actual, they only move when you move. So, it's everything's frozen, and then you move your arm, and then they start moving more. And it's more of a puzzle than a shooter. You kind of load into a small little situation where you've got 3 or 4 guys with different weapons. You got to take out those guys, and then it loads into another one and another one. And it comes at you in batches of 4 of those little mini ones, and you've got to complete all of them. If you die once in there, you have to go back to the beginning of that little area.
That's punishing.
It wasn't terrible. It just wasn't... I still really love Space Pirate Trainer. That's my game.
Because you're really good at it.
But no, I like that game. It feels good.
Space Pirate Trainer, we're going to do some more VR reviews, by the way. Just might as well be a place to talk about that. Because, honestly, I don't think there's a whole lot of good VR reviews that I've seen. There are a few here and there. Mm-hmm. But VR is definitely in its infancy, and it's a good place to kind of try out what we're doing, too. And we have access to a lot of VR games. So, yeah, you'd probably see more of that.
Yeah, so we wanted to kind of do a little VR review section. So that's kind of what I've been doing is kind of... Because there are actually a lot of VR games, especially on Steam, and a lot of them look really crappy. So I think it'd be good to do really quick little bite-sized reviews.
And also for everyone watching, listening, all three of you, including our audience, yay! You can actually play Steam VR game. Actual crickets. Wow. Yeah, no, that's appropriate.
That's good.
You can actually play Steam VR games with an Oculus Rift, so you don't have to use the Oculus Store. A lot of people apparently don't know that. Mm-hmm. I really wouldn't have, except I happened to watch like a tested video, and those guys were talking about it, so we gave it a shot. There was a process that's involved. It looked like it was a little tougher, or maybe the Oculus one was tougher. I don't remember which one was more annoying.
No, the Steam was tougher for mine to set up. I've had other people comment on our VR review that was not the case for them, so that's just your mileage may vary. Yeah. Maybe some people it's easy for, some people it isn't. The issue I have is when you put on the VR or you're using the VR stuff, the Oculus Store comes up, and that's great, and I kind of minimize it, and then I open up Steam VR, and it doesn't always, and then I put on the headset, it'll sometimes show me the Oculus VR kind of room instead of the Steam VR room. It's a little tricky, and that could be my computer, I don't know. So sometimes I have a hard time getting into a Steam VR game, because it keeps wanting to give me an Oculus game. I wish there was a way to disable that or something. But.
Yeah, that's a little annoying.
Yep.
So yeah, pop quiz, what's the name of the starship in StarTrek Bridge Crew, the main one?
It's like a 4-letter word that starts with an E.
That's
maybe.
Not even close.
Irthus, Eramis.
USS Pegasus.
No.
What's the USS stand for?
Wait, so you're saying in the Star Trek Bridge Crew, the one that you're piloting?
Yeah.
I think we're going to go to our studio audience and maybe
somebody... Going to poll the studio audience? Let's go to Phone a Friend.
Phone a Friend. Is it Pegasus? No, they're saying Iritus or Emis or...
Let's go ahead and look that up on the internet, shall we?
Pause 1 second.
Star Trek Bridge Crew.
Dun, 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 dun.
I wrote a pretty in-depth story on this, so I'm going to look really terrible if I'm wrong here. I am 73% positive.
I haven't heard them say that.
Okay, survey says nothing, because it's apparently really hard to find the name of the ship. I don't know if that's picking up or not, but there's more crickets. Well, let's see here. Ship and crew? Nope. Shit.
What is it?
Let's not talk about it.
No. What is it?
USS Aegis.
Aegis, okay.
It's kind of like the Pegasus.
It's AE.
AE. So I was doing the E thing. Aegis.
All right, I was wrong. It's the USS Aegis. I was making sure everyone here knew.
If it said Pegasus, I would have really remembered. That's a much easier thing to say. I don't know. Anyways.
I hope I didn't write that in the article. I didn't think about it.
Anyways, those are the games I kind of played. Oh, I tried to play Rime. I know that you'll talk more about that.
We'll talk lots about Rime.
I tried to play Rime. It patched, so it loaded better than it did the last time we tried to play it, but it has a really wide field of view.
I didn't notice that.
To me, it seems really wide, and then it's kind of stuttery, and I played for about 5 minutes, and I was like, well, I'm going to throw up if I keep playing this.
It's not a well-optimized game.
Yeah.
And it doesn't launch in VR now, speaking of VR.
Yeah.
So they got that going for them.
It did patch, so it seemed like it loaded this time. But
hey, that's step one.
Yep.
Before we go any further, I think maybe we should mention we're actually thinking of segment names for our upcoming VR game reviews. Mm-hmm. Let's delve into that a little bit, because I thought it was pretty enjoyable. Now, I spent about an hour and a half, a little bit less than that, driving home and really just thinking about segment names. Segment names, I enjoy them. I like coming up with them. They're fun.
Our big reviews are played in full.
Yep.
Our small reviews are bite-sized reviews.
BYTE. Yes. It turns out it's much harder to make a VR game name segment. So here's what I came up with.
You came home very excited with this name.
You ready? VR Swim.
It doesn't make sense.
It's amazing. It's the best segment name I've ever come up with in my entire life. Think about it. VR Swim.
It doesn't make sense.
You're swimming around a virtual reality space. You're going through things. You're moving your arms around. You're swimming in reality, virtually. VR swim.
Okay.
But I don't know. I think Bree had some other ones too.
I had Reality Bites.
Let's just talk about the first one, though.
Well, I came up with VR Room, and I wrote it down, and I realized it looks like Vroom.
Vroom! This is pretty good, actually.
Yeah, and Headspace, and
I also came up with Headspace.
Did you?
We actually had a lot of the same ones, yeah.
VR Osphere.
That's
I kind of like VR Swim, because it doesn't make any sense at all.
totally non-essential. VR Room is actually quite good. That was your last one.
My VR Room, which looks like Vroom. Vroom, vroom.
I had a bunch of like really overly complex ones, like virtually indistinguishable. And one, it's really hard to say, which you don't want to do for a review. And two, trying to put that like little thumbnail on YouTube, you need like a microphone. No, these are microphones. You know, microscope. That's the one I'm thinking of, or magnifying glass, some type of item like that. Yeah.
Anyway, so we're still thinking on that. It may be called VR Swim.
It's VR Swim.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Vroom, vroom.
Uh-huh.
All right. What have you been playing this week?
What have I been playing? So I want to talk about Rime for a while. But besides Rime, played some more Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much been it. And I played a lot of Rime. So this is actually one of the first games I've played since Hollow Knight that I've been really actually addicted to. Mm-hmm. We played quite a few games in between there and there, but none really grabbed me.
I think we played a lot of games that we didn't finish. Like the Warhammer game, I wasn't too crazy about the Long Journey Home, and not enough to finish it or care that much.
I wasn't into that game.
Yep.
So I started playing it. I didn't know what to expect with Rime. I thought it was going to be a Legend of Zelda-like game where it's an open world, you collect items, and it's combat, and that it's not. It's actually more like Tomb Raider than anything else. If you think of a Tomb Raider without combat, that's really Rime. So the idea is you're a little dude, and you end up washed up on a shore. It's a very mystical kind of environment. It's tropical, and you just kind of walk around. There is no HUD at all. It's just a screen. The only thing you'll see now and then is a little save icon, which I actually wish was a lot bigger. One of my only and few complaints about the game is it's really hard to tell when it's saving, and there's no quick saves, so it's auto saves only. So there's no talking. There's voice. The only power you really have is to hum or shout or scream, and that activates certain things and puzzles. So you go out, you start solving puzzles that way, and for me personally, I'm not awesome at puzzle games. I played through Portal and Portal 2, and those are kind of the skill level I'm at, so I was perfectly okay with the type of puzzles in this game. They're moderate, they're not overly complex, they're not too easy. For me, that's perfect. Like I played The Witness, couldn't get through a quarter of that game, way too hard. I cheated a lot, but that's, why even play the game at that point, right?
You were cheating?
I had to, and so The Witness is really, really hard. Good game. There's nothing wrong with The Witness, but it was too tough for me. So I find Rime's puzzles satisfactory. I didn't feel like they were too long. I felt like they were challenging enough, and they're varied. Some you push around blocks, some you have to look through a thing and kind of line up things kind of just right. There's some where you activate your voice, and it has to ripple effect to other little icons, and you open doors that way. So good stuff. A beautiful, beautiful game.
It is really pretty.
It really is, like a gorgeous game. It's hard on the video card.
For no reason that I think it should be.
It's just poorly programmed.
It really is. It was very stuttery, and I don't feel like it. Because I actually played The Witcher 3 a little bit this week, and I went from The Witcher 3, which was running like perfectly gorgeous, and then into Rime, and it's like stuttering.
Yeah. I tried VSync on and off. Didn't seem to make any difference.
I tried that too. Oh, my headphones. It's not even going to have you in focus.
So yeah, very hard on the graphics card. Not really sure why, other than just, again, poor programming. It is very pretty, and the draw distance is extremely far. At least you can have the option to turn it up like that. So it's great. I would have liked some better performance. But other than that, I am utterly enchanted by this game. It's very emotional. It's very subtle. It's very apparent that you're either dead or you're in the mystical kind of otherworldly place. And I like how they don't hit you over the head with what to do. They kind of push you, sort of, by maybe having a little path that lights up. Or there's like this little fox you got to follow throughout the game.
The fox is super cute.
Yeah. And I feel like, again, there's subtle paths to where you're supposed to go, but they kind of encourage you to walk around. There's a lot of secrets to find. So I'm having a blast with it. It's, from what I understand, it's a short game. And also, after playing for like 2.5, 3 hours, I decided to look up some reviews, and it's getting a lot of hate. This is not a popular game. Now, I think some of those reviews were like when it had issues, but it was reviewed like platform-wide, and a lot of people played it on the console, which makes sense. It's a gamepad game, in my opinion.
I know that a lot of people on PC, it released with DRM, and people generally hate DRM, and a lot of the performance issues were blamed on the DRM. So as soon as somebody hacked the game...
Which was within 5 days or something.
Less than that. I think it was within 2 days they actually released it DRM free, but it's just like, why even bother? Why piss off people in the first place?
I don't
go the path of The Witcher and just let people do what they want to do, because it works out in your favor every time.
From my understanding, it's kind of like From Software, where they knew how to code and make a game for the consoles, and they're like, well, obviously there's a PC, so we'll port it there. I don't think they understood the PC audience as far as we really get pissed off when there's DRM. And I would say PC people are a lot less patient when it comes to like little issues like that. Because when you're in a console world, well, I mean, you're kind of stuck on that console and you have bought the game. I don't know. It just seems like console people are more forgiving a little bit of issues, whereas PC gamers are not.
Yeah, and no, I literally played like 10 minutes. I was like, nope, good. I'm good. It's playing like crap, and there's nothing I can switch or change or do anything about it. I'm all set.
That's a bummer, too, because this is really a fantastic game so far. I think I'm about halfway through. It's a short game, 6 to 8 hours from what I understand. But there's so many different moods you go through. The environments are varied. It's tropical. Then you go to like a completely pitch dark, very ethereal type of like a planetarium kind of universe. Then you go to like a white hot sand desert. So it's great. Like, I am loving this game, and it's one of those few games in recent, I don't know, last month or so, where I really wanted to play it all the time.
Yeah, and I haven't seen that from you since Hollow Knight, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to come off a game like Hollow Knight, where like, I still am enamored with that game. I guess maybe it's not other games' fault, but you can't compare, right? I'm playing a game like that where I'm just utterly in love with it, and it's like, it's okay. And then coming off the letdown of Dawn of War 3 kind of was like, So it's reassuring to get a game like this. Go back into it. So yeah, I think that's really pretty much it. Still painting a lot for Warhammer 40k because an 8th edition is officially out. It shipped, but it has not yet arrived.
Have you checked the tracking?
Not today, but it was supposed to ship today. So. Let me tell you what, Games Workshop. If it doesn't, I'm going to wait more because I really want the damn game. So yeah. So I think that's pretty much it.
It for playing, yeah.
I do want to get into some VR. I will hopefully play some more Robo Recall. Let's go back to VR for a minute here. I just want to posit this out of nowhere. What would be the best VR game you've played this year?
Oh, hands down, it's Space Pirate Trainer. I play that game. Every time I play that game, I have fun. I like that arcadey, just like popping back into it thing. So I replayed Robo Recall because I really haven't played that since we got the headset, and I played like 2 or 3 matches, and I do really like Robo Recall, but it seems like it punishes me in the points department unless I'm like pulling people apart or doing... So I was just trying to do a points thing because you're supposed to get like 1,000,000 points to get another star.
That's what that game is very much about.
Yeah, it's a points thing, which I'm down with because that's Space Pirate Trainer is only points. That's all you're doing. So I'm fine with that goal. So I just went headshot, 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 like just chaining them together, and I didn't get anywhere near the 1,000,000 points you're supposed to get a star.
No, in Robo Recall, you've either got to do combos. So if you can like get 2 guys in the air and start shooting them in the air, that gives you a ton of points. Or
I can juggle them in the air. I was fine with that. It seems like I get about 5,000 or 6,000 points for a headshot, so I was doing those as much as possible.
It's actually really granular as far as the system goes. If you're close up, you can make points faster, but if you shoot guys really far away, you get more points. So in other words, you could be like punch a bunch of guys, you're getting points. If you marksman a guy, you get a ton of points.
Yeah, so I was doing that. I was just like, because I feel like aim is my strong point in these shooting VR games, so I was like, let's do the headshot marksman thing, and I got lots of little pop-ups for that, or I juggle a guy in the air for like triple or quadruple things.
That's a game too where if you don't get hit, you get tons of points. Every time you get hit, it messes up your points.
It does, and so I was trying to be better about that. And then I feel like it just gets bogged down with some of these things where you've got to like, I don't mind the guarding a tower thing.
That's my least favorite thing to do in that game.
Is the guarding the tower.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that mechanic or that mode. I don't like the one where you have to like capture the guys and throw them into the...
That's one of my favorite ones.
Really?
Yeah.
And I did that. I did it like so much that they just kept saying like, oh my god, I can't believe how many you've got, because I just bam, bam, bam. Like I'm pretty good at teleporting around. I just feel like it seems like I don't get enough stars in that game. I feel like should be getting more stars for how good I am.
Space pirate trainer skills.
Because I'm a super space pirate. I don't know. I like it and I don't like it.
Can we call it stationary pirate trainer game?
Stationary pirate trainer?
Yeah. So for me, it's hands down Robo Recall, personally. I haven't played as many VR games as you. It could end up being Star Trek Bridge Crew.
You know what else I played is Rick and Morty.
That's
that
right.
game.
Yeah.
Actually, I really want to kind of dive into that a lot more. The humor in that game, and I'm not a fan of Rick and Morty. I haven't seen the show, but the humor in the game was just on point. It was really funny.
I've never seen the show, but apparently it's pretty close to that kind of humor.
Yeah, and so it reminded me a lot of Job Simulator. It was basically Job Simulator with more adult humor, and they're swearing at me and yelling at me what a crappy Morty clone I am.
You know, honestly, Job Simulator for me probably number 2. Job Simulator is really good.
That's like Office Space humor. It's really good too.
But for me, Robo Recall by Country Mile. I feel like it's that VR game I want to show everybody. I want to see them play it.
I feel like it's an overwhelming game to show people.
It is VR. If you don't really know what's going on. It's definitely a game you don't want to just jump into for VR. It's really scary, like in the sense that if you're not used to being really high up, and then all of a sudden you teleport and you look down, and you're like, ah, because you're like 100 feet up in the air, and a lot of stuff's happening. Mm-hmm. And I've actually got motion sick in that once or twice because there's so much going on. But I feel like the feedback from the guns, every gun feels really powerful.
The guns feel really good. I like how you can upgrade the guns. I definitely would like that in another game, a little more arcadey. But I'm really looking for I just want to straight up shoot things kind of game. And
well, you can do that. There are some missions where you have to throw them in. So I guess.
I don't know. So I do like that game. I think they also patched it. So I remember before you'd get hurt and your screen would get really bloody, but I never died before, and I died this time pretty easily. Like I was adjusting my controller and I was just like, yeah, whatever, because I'm just practicing around. In my hand, I was moving it, and then all of a sudden I was dead, and I had to like lose minus 15% of my points to respawn.
It's happened to me before too.
That's never happened to me before.
It's not that easy, but it can happen. Oh. Yeah, they probably did. They patched it fairly recently.
Okay.
But I love the humor of it. I love the lighthearted nature. I think it's that nice, like for other VR games besides Rick and Morty, I guess hasn't been, and often. No, you know what? There have been quite a few funny games for VR now that I think about it. But it's my type of humor. I love the opening intro music to the point where I'll just sit there and listen to the music instead of playing the damn game.
No, I like it a lot too. I downloaded Arizona Sunshine, but I didn't get it going, so I don't know about that yet. I want to try that. I know that's very popular. I've not played any of like the racing games.
I would love to play a racing game, but I couldn't get one to work for some reason. I don't remember what it was called, but I think that one's a gamepad game, and I don't think we've installed the wireless gamepad.
No, we haven't.
So we have a wired gamepad that's not near. It's like you've got enough wires to begin with. So yeah, I gotta say VR is pretty awesome.
Still,
the one game I still really want to play is the one that's $60.
Climb?
Yeah.
Which actually, there's an Oculus Summer Store thing where you get Climb and 3 other games for $60.
That's a much better deal. It's just $60 for one VR game. And it's not a game that you're going to play a lot, because apparently it's like just nauseating, because it's very much simulating climbing up a mountain.
Yeah, and that's Oculus exclusive too.
Yeah. And it's a Crytek game. Like, Crytek hasn't done much. They did Far Cry originally, and then they ended up going to Crysis. Mm-hmm. And then after that, it was kind of like, they kind of got all like, they got a little angry apparently with the PC and with consoles, and they kind of like, we're not going to develop games anymore. But now they developed this one, and it looks pretty good. The fear with the Climb is that it's pretty intense. It's Crytek, so the graphics are like insane.
Yeah.
So I would be curious to see how it runs in a 1070 rather.
So all the comments that have been on our VR review video has been that they have no problems running any games on a 1070.
Which is interesting. I think we have. Like, Robo Recall struggles a little bit.
I feel like most of these games struggle loading. Once they're loaded in, they're fine. So, I don't know.
But VR, enjoying it. It's one that it seems like it spurts for our household. We played normal games and we in the VR mode, etc. Like we said, though, Bree's computer is actually the VR box, and that makes it tough because we really need like a dedicated VR space. in a wide open area. This room is what we used, and it's way too small, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So it's entertaining to watch people bump their heads on tables and hit people. And
I almost punched somebody today that's in our studio audience, like literally.
Yeah, that's entertaining.
I felt hair and I was like, oh shoot.
It's also really fun to screw with people in VR. So when they're like, because you really get into the you're like in the game and you can kind of touch them and push them, and it's good fun.
It is and it isn't.
Anywho, you wanted to talk about some Nintendo stuff.
Yeah, so we filmed our E3 video last week, and we hadn't really, I think it was Sony hadn't come out, and Nintendo hadn't done their preview. I didn't really see anything from Sony that I thought was worth. I have a list here somewhere. But obviously Nintendo, I feel like a lot of people feel like Nintendo won E3 as far as the games that they showed. People really liking the Mario Odyssey game, which I think just looks so bizarre. So basically,
weird to me.
The main mechanic, if for some reason you haven't seen it, is that Mario throws his hat with eyeballs onto something, and then he's inside of that person, or whatever, and now he's a dinosaur or a truck or whatever, a frog.
He quantum leaps, which is what got me into that shit. So this week I was on a quantum leap fix for some reason. I actually traced it back. It was that game that got me thinking about it, because he basically jumps in and possesses other people or things or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So that it looks really interesting. I think that comes out in October. We still don't have a Switch. I'm starting to lean more towards it. The more games that are on it. I mean, we have Zelda on the Wii U, and that's been fine. But now there's starting to be several games on there. I know that I complained about the Rabbids game. It does really actually look like a good game.
Yeah.
Like, it looks like a simplified XCOM.
It looks kind of like Pit People, honestly, a little bit, as far as like the turn-based goes, and you have to put your guys behind cover, and there's cover breaking dynamics, and it's turn-based. But yeah, you weren't kidding about those rabid things. What the hell?
So that was interesting. Moss, that was a Sony game. It's a PlayStation VR game with this little tiny mouse, which is like the cutest thing I think I've seen ever. I want that, but we don't have PlayStation VR.
Yeah.
I want the Switch. So basically, I want a Switch. I want PlayStation VR. You know, all these things.
You can send your donations to. We don't have a donations place.
Yeah. I'm
just
trying
mail
to
money. It's
skim
fine.
through the other. These are Sony stuff. And I'm actually going to link a couple roundups that was, PC Gamer did a really good roundup of just basically every single game that was at E3, and it's like 8 pages long.
They had good coverage.
They did. They had good coverage. There's all the Ubisoft ones and yada yada.
I would also suggest going to Games Radar and reading Lucas Sullivan's article on Super Mario Odyssey. Lucas, old pal of mine, he used to intern back at PC Gamer, and then he went on to Games Radar. He's still there. So awesome, very good article, and Lucas knows his Mario stuff. So I would highly recommend reading that article too, if you're kind of into the Mario world at all.
Yeah, so I think it looks good. I think it looks just really different than any Mario game, because Mario games are much more, it's a focused level, where this looks more like GTA. You're just kind of running around New Donk City or whatever it's called, which is still also a weird thing. It's just looking very strange to me, but good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a Mario game. I haven't met a Mario game I don't like.
I give them credit. Nintendo is kind of getting a little innovative. Like Zelda, for example, I don't think people were quite expecting that type of game.
No, and I know it, won the show of E3 last year, Zelda in general, and people were seeing it, but I don't think anybody understood how open world it was until they got into it. Like, everybody knew it was open world, but it's just crazy. You can just spend an hour running in a small little circle.
Yeah, Nintendo's coming around. They still have plenty of issues that they will never work out, but the games are trickling in.
Yeah, for sure.
It's Nintendo, so knowing them, they'll cancel Mario in a month.
Yeah.
But,
and then another E3 thing I wanted to talk about was Anthem. I wanted to kind of update that because because last week we kind of had a disagreement about Anthem and whether that looked like a good game. So I went.
What do I call it? Disagreement.
Okay, disagreement about the Anthem release trailer. So I did go and watch it the next day, and I want to be clear that the only in-game dialogue is the one, quest giver, and then the rest of the dialogue is their stupid attempt at being online game talk between two people playing. So, I still have some hope for it.
I didn't. The game itself looks fine.
Just jetpacks.
Like I said, you can't go wrong with cybersuit with jetpacks in a primeval world with gigantic dinosaur creatures. You've got me. It's just that if they're saying it was like the writer for Mass Effect games and some other games, very good past games, and if that's the guy, he must really be taking
Well, who
an off
says
day.
that he did that? He wrote that particular thing.
Someone.
I said he was joining the team.
Oh,
You know, I
okay.
got that article. I don't know if he wrote the particular text that they listed in that trailer. But anyways, so it's just that one section. So
Yeah.
I kind of update on that.
No,
still
I'll
looks
play it.
good.
It looks good. Mm-hmm. It's just, the intro is pure crap.
But jetpacks.
Uh-huh.
Was there anything at E3 that you were really kind of jazzed up about?
Yep. But
So-
we only got to see 2 seconds of it. Not even, really. It was just an announcement, which is Metroid Prime 4.
Well, you just saw the logo for it, right?
Yeah,
And
it
it
was
wasn't
like-
even, it was kind of a crappy logo.
Yep, but
But
just the fact that it's being made,
Mm-hmm.
oof. I gotta say, and this is, I don't know anything about the game, but
No one does.
yeah,
That's
no
all we
one-
got
yeah,
was
really.
the thing.
I played Metroid Prime a few years ago for the first time. That is a fantastic game. I don't know how I missed that. I think it was just in that time where I couldn't afford anything, so I was like in the Air Force and broke.
Mm-hmm.
But wow, it's very, having played 2 years ago on an actual GameCube, not an emulator, by the way. I played it with the little adapter that went into our HDTV, and it worked great. And it was amazing. It completely holds up. So I haven't played Prime 2 or 3, but from what I understand, those are really good too. So I am really psyched for Metroid Prime 4. Now, again, that's probably going to be a Switch exclusive, I would imagine. Maybe they'll put it on the Wii U. We'll see. I doubt it because it's Nintendo.
Meaning we need a Switch.
At some point. But this could be 3 years away for all we know. It could be like the Switch Part 9 at that point. Who knows? It could be
This
a
is
different-
true because they showed zip.
Yeah.
0. It looked like almost at day one.
But there you go. Being Nintendo, it's like all you have to do is announce something like that. And people like me are like, ah!
I literally saw reaction shots where people just melting down, just knowing this game is being made. I'm like, okay, let's just calm down.
There was another game that, again, PC Gamer covered, and I'm dying to remember what it was called. It's like a co-op hunting game with kind of like a... it almost looked like a Cthulhu type of horror background.
Oh, I think
I can't remember
I
the
know what
name
you're
of it,
talking
though.
about. That was their choice, right?
Yeah,
that
it
was
looked-
their one that they
yeah.
picked as the best.
And I gotta say
it's
that-
like Hunt something.
Yeah.
Hunt.
There's some sort of hunting involved in that game. I loved it so much, I have no idea what the damn title of the game was. But that looked pretty good.
They called it their game of the year. You know what? Actually, I think it was a Sea of Thieves. It's this co-op kind of pirate game, one of the 2 pirate games, where I actually saw, I think it was one of the magazines, they talked about how they actually played it, and they were talking about how that happened. And there's just all these wacky things that you can do. It looked like the amount of entertainment that you'd get out of it was similar to like Overcooked, where you all have to work together to like, we need to raise the sales, so everybody quick, get on the little thing, let's do that together. And then somebody's got a map, he kept showing everybody his map. They're like trying to do things, and he's like showing the map. And I was not interested in that game at all until I saw that, and I was like, that looks like a really fun co-op, kind of like you control your friends, but one guy blew up the ship because he didn't anchor it. He didn't put down the anchor when they're trying to go get their treasure and stuff.
Yeah.
I was actually like, no, I'm interested in that game.
There were a lot of good-looking games. Nothing, like I said, that really blew me away. I will say the Devolver Digital fake press conference was a highlight for me. It looked pretty
I think
awesome.
that was for everybody, yeah.
But yeah, it kind of. And honestly, that's usually what E3 is like lately. They usually take what you're expecting to come. There's going to be those big name games, but it looked okay. I would say I was very lukewarm.
Okay.
With the exception again of Metroid Prime 4, which will probably be fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I'm cautiously optimistic.
About some games, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else you want to talk about?
VR Swim.
It doesn't make sense.
No, I think that's it for me. Anything else you
Okay.
wanna go?
No, I didn't have it. I think we covered most of the stuff from E3 last week, at least the stuff that I was kind of interested in.
Yeah.
We got in most of it besides the Nintendo bit. And Ubisoft, I didn't even look at what Sony, they're doing Destiny 2, and people seem to be jazzed up about that. Oh, Ubisoft was the one that did Beyond Good and Evil 2, which was a beautiful trailer that had 0 gameplay, and they are at day 1 with that game. So it's like, I am excited. The trailer you showed me looks really amazing and cool, but I don't know what we're going to get. So
Yeah.
I'm,
Good old Ubisoft.
yeah. And that was pretty much it for me.
Yeah, I would say again, it looks like it's going to be still a pretty good year and probably a good next year.
There's actually another article I want to link. It was basically, sure, we've seen all these games, but when are they going to come out and which ones we can play this year? It was actually Waypoint. What can we play this year?
Yeah.
And that'll be linked down below because that's a good roundup as well.
Yep.
All right, we've seen all this stuff now. What can I play and when?
Okay, so we're going to finish up the show with this real quick. We won't do any deep discussion or anything, but here we are. We're in June. Mm-hmm. It is half of the year over. Game of the year so far.
Nier Automata. By
a country mile.
By a country mile. I still go to work and I'm feeling stressed out. I listen to the soundtrack at work, and I've never in my life ever listened to game music outside of the game.
Yeah.
Ever. I would play it again. I'd play the whole entire thing again. I really would.
Fair enough. For me, it's Hollow Knight.
Yeah. I think these are not surprises.
Yeah, well, I had to think about it, though, because I was like, Hollow Knight, and I was like, you know what, though? Resident Evil 7, pretty damn good. I would say it's going to be, I'm screaming Hollow Knight now, and we actually do the discussion at the end of the year. Mm-hmm. It's going to be in the running. And Robo Recall, I would say honorable mention. Probably be VR Game of the Year. But Game of the Year, Hollow Knight, fantastic game. Oh my god, play it. Despite that terrible section with the buzzsaws.
Yeah, I'm actually going to link the reviews of both of those games down below because I feel like your Hollow Knight game, I feel like Hollow Knight in general has just gotten zero press from anybody.
Yeah, which is really disappointing. That's not only was that the game of the year, I would say that's one of the best games I've played in like 5 years.
And if it wasn't so hard, that was a game that when I played Hollow Knight for the first I played it for 8 hours straight one day?
Yeah, you played a good chunk of it.
It grabbed me and I really did like it. It just, I don't have the skills to complete that game.
It's a hard game.
It was a little too hard for me.
And that really was what most people agreed was it's too much. It's like it kind of lulls you in, it's a little easy, and you get to a point where mortals, it's like if you're not used to those games, you just can't play it.
Isn't Hollow Knight on the Switch too?
I don't know if it came out in the Switch yet.
Huh, because I think that would maybe... I would be sweating, I guess. My controller was always so sweaty because I was just like, man.
That was actually the angriest I think I've seen you get this year, too, is with Hollow Knight.
Really?
Yeah.
I felt like I got angrier with Owlboy, that one boss fight.
Oh!
I just couldn't do it.
Yeah. Owlboy didn't come out this year, though. That came out last year, right?
It did last October, but we played it this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Hollow Knight, PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, Windows, Linux, Mac.
Yeah, Switch. I mean, if it's getting games like Hollow Knight.
I would just break my Switch.
But there you have it. So, thanks everybody for tuning in. We really appreciate it. Again, you can always subscribe if you like what you're seeing. You can leave a comment and talk about whatever you want, because, hey, we'll listen. And we want to go ahead and, again, thank our live studio audience
for joining us.
Yay! So, for episode 18 of Automata Facepalm Weekly, I am Chris.
And I'm Bree.
Good luck!
Have fun.
That's an order. Lieutenant, Worf,